What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to discuss why Tom Brady decided now was the right time to retire. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Alright Nick, the day finally came, the day that we have dreaded to hear about for years on end now. Tom Brady, the GOAT himself, has decided to hang up the cleats and retire from the sport of football. Honestly, feels a little surreal to me, and I want to get your thoughts in here pretty quickly, but just the fact that most people watching the NFL nowadays, and most of our fan base and everybody else around the country who has taken in the NFL over the last 22 years, really doesn't even remember the sport of football without Tom Brady's presence. And Nick, I just want to get your thoughts on kind of what Tom Brady meant to you, not only as a Patriots fan, but as a spectator of the sport of football, and just kind of what you're left feeling right now.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady was in the NFL for over 20 years, and he was in the league pretty much since I was born, or at least since I can remember. All I know when it comes to the NFL is Tom Brady and how he performed, how he was so successful. And I grew up in that Patriots culture. I got to see everything that he did all the way through. And now for him to retire, I'm right there with you. This is one of the most surreal feelings, because it's just hard to fathom we're going to be watching a game that does not include this man that I've seen for the last 20 plus years. He has been so dominant, and this was an interesting point that you brought up earlier. There is now no starting quarterback besides Jimmy Garoppolo that has more than one Super Bowl win. This is now a more even playing field in the NFL than it was last year. And we saw how wild and erratic that season was. Nothing was predictable. No one knew who was going to win what matchup, because any team could win any given matchup. It's going to be even more so going into the next few seasons, because with Tom Brady out of the league, it opens up the floodgates for everybody to really make their mark and become the next great in the NFL. With him gone, people actually have a chance to now take a hold of the NFC. Before that, it was the AFC, and now we see all this change. The Chiefs are at the top. Now the Bengals. We're going to continue to see this continue to cycle, and it's all because one man was so dominant through his entire career that he just monopolized one half of the NFL. And it's incredible, because we'll never see it again. He is by far and away the greatest quarterback of all time, and it is undisputable. This guy has every accolade to his name, and then some. You gotta give credit where credit's due. I know there's a lot of people out there that hate the man, but you have to respect the man for what he has done and what he has done for this game. I salute Tom Brady. I thank him for everything that he has done. It will be truly missed, and I will miss watching him every Sunday.
This is a day that I have wanted to avoid for many years now. Even though I knew it was coming, we just knew that Tom Brady was going to leave the sport of football. And honestly, I'm kind of proud of him for the fact that he never sucked. He always said he would retire when he sucked, and he just never has. Max Kellerman, he never fell off that cliff. So good luck with that one, buddy. The fact is, Tom Brady, one of the most genuine humans on the face of the planet. I think this is why people hate him, because he's a genuinely nice guy, and he's the most supremely talented player in the sport of football in history. I mean, there's not a single better player that the NFL has ever seen. Now, Tom Brady obviously has, had his ups and downs in his career, but I think the man has literally arguably had two Hall of Fame careers in one. He went 10 years without a Super Bowl victory and still won 7. That's 3 more than the next guy, and his name is Joe Montana, who won 4. I mean, it is just absolutely remarkable from what we've been able to see. Nick, I'm going to kind of replicate some of the sentiments that you expressed here. I want to thank Tom Brady from the bottom of my heart for everything he was able to give us, not only in the sport of football, but as a Patriots fan who did not grow up in New England. I had Tom Brady to rely on and somebody to watch and to really become a hero. This guy got me into the sport of football. He got me into something that I absolutely love and that we have been able to turn out here on YouTube for you guys. I have to say it all came out because of Tom Brady. So I want to salute him and I want to thank him for that. With that being said, this is a tough time for him to retire. Obviously, he is in line for possibly winning another MVP trophy. The timing is questionable at best. You know, he said he wanted to retire when he sucked. Obviously, that's not the case. And Nick, I kind of want to discuss with you maybe some of the things that went into his decision making. Obviously, he did not relay what that final decision came down to, but he did talk about family. And do you think the family had any impact here?
Yeah, Tom Brady has not revealed his reason as to why he's retiring. And like you said, he wanted to retire when everything he had was gone. He could not perform at that elite level anymore, but he is performing at that elite level, which only leaves one thing. If he's not talking about it, it's got to be personal. And what's personal? His family. So it's definitely got to be a family decision as to, okay, 5 years ago, he said, Giselle, kids, I need 5 years. Give me 5 years and then I will walk away no matter what. He's at the top of his game, and I know this was not an easy decision, but he held his word to his family, and now he's going to go spend the rest of his life enjoying his time, moving on to bigger and better things. We know he's got 199 productions that he's working on. He's putting out all these docuseries. He has a lot of goals and things that he wants to accomplish off the gridiron. He's done what he needed to on the field, in the arena, as he likes to put it. He has now found that his family needs him, his family wants him around, and he's willing to comply, and he's willing to walk away from the game because his family means much more to him than the football does anymore.
The family is everything to this guy, and he has said that more times than not. And with everything going on with his kids finally growing up, I mean, you know, you look at John, his oldest, and he's old enough where this is one of the most formative years of his life, and all of his kids are starting to get to that age. You know, there's a lot of things that Tom would miss if he were still going to continue to play football. So I understand the decision from that side of things. But I want to take a look at the team aspect and kind of what he would have been walking back into should he decide to return back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the biggest thing is all of the free agents that this team is going to have moving on. You take a look at some of these guys: Chris Godwin, Jason Pierre-Paul, Ryan Jensen, Ndamukong Suh, Rob Gronkowski, William Golston, Leonard Fournette, O.J. Howard, Ronald Jones, Richard Sherman, Giovanni Bernard, Steve McClendon, Carlton Davis, Alex Kappa, Jordan Whitehead, and that's not even the whole list. Those are just the starters. That's not all the meat and potato guys who get everything done on special teams, who help get you prepared in practice. There are going to be a ton of Tampa Bay Buccaneers who are not returning, whether it be through free agency, through retirement, whatever the case is. I think that had to do a lot with his decision making as well.
It's quite possible. I mean, he's got to realize he won't have the same weapons, and it's going to be much harder to get back to the Super Bowl the next season. So he has to kind of figure out, is it worth it? And I liked his decision. You know what? I really wanted him to play another year. I thought he would play at the age of 45, but it does make sense because with the way the NFL is right now, it is so competitive that it's going to be very hard to get back to that point. And I just don't see even the teams going to the Super Bowl this year. I really don't think that they'll be back there next year because there are teams on the cusp of that level. And it seems like the NFL is just cycling through top level teams Like I said, we had the Chiefs, now it's the Bengals. It'll be a new team next year. The Colts are on the rise, the Titans are on the rise. They will be there eventually. It's going to be years before we see another quarterback that has more than one Super Bowl win to their name. It is extremely hard to do. Only one of 32 get to do it every single year. He happened to do it 7 times in 22 years. We know how great he was and how much that speaks to his greatness. But Tom Brady knows that what he's accomplished is as far as he'll truly get. And if he gets his final MVP, that's enough for him. So I understand where he's coming from. I agree with his decision after thinking about it, but it is truly upsetting and disheartening to see him walk away.
Absolutely, 100%. And before we get out of here, Nick, I just want to get your thoughts on this because this is kind of floated around the Twitter sphere, if you will. What are your thoughts on Bruce Arians and AB and everything that kind of transpired toward the end of this final season? Do you think that played any part of his decision making?
Absolutely not. I mean, we've seen Tom Brady deal with controversial things all the time. Look at his last couple of years in New England with the controversy between him and Bill Belichick, the divorce. What's going on there? They played through it. They won a Super Bowl back in 2017. Tom Brady knows what it takes to win. He's willing to just push the noise away and focus on the task at hand. He's done it his entire career. He's always had people talking negative about him, people coming into the team not fitting in well, and he's persevered. He always finds a way to persevere. He's the only one of his kind, and we'll just never see that again. Other quarterbacks, I would say differently, but for him, that noise that we saw this season with Antonio Brown, Bruce Arians, that didn't mean anything to him. He's a seasoned veteran. He handled it like a professional, and that's exactly how he's handled every situation like that through his career. He has never deviated. I just think that Tom Brady is able to do so many things on the field and off the field mentally that no one else can.
This is the first time in 19 years that the Super Bowl won't contain Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, or the San Francisco 49ers. That is absolutely wild to me, but definitely some food for thought and definitely some trivia for you guys to use 100%. But to take it away like my man Michael Irvin did on First Take a couple of years ago, you know, you have to respect Tom Brady the way he has conducted himself. And I understand that if you're a Jets fan, a Bills fan, if you have hated this man because he has been the bane of your existence for so long, it doesn't matter. You have to respect him because you tune in, you turn in, because this man is the NFL. He is the face of the sport of football. And whether you like it or not, he is a major, major portion of your life as well. And it may be good riddance to see him finally walk away from the sport of football, but we all know that there will be a void left by Tom Brady's absence. All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of Tom Brady's retirement. Let us know if you think anything contributed to him choosing now to retire, anything more than we talked about. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.